On social media platforms today, quality content often goes unnoticed. On Den, users get paid for the creation, evaluation, and curation of quality content. Content creators are rewarded based upon the engagement and reach of their post or comment. Content evaluators are rewarded based upon the speed and results of their predictions about which content will trend or go viral. Community owners are rewarded based on engagement within their community. On Den, quality content pays.
Hello, fellow denizens, and welcome to this week's weekly DENDAO governance call. Probably a short and sweet episode or meeting for you today. We've got a few things to talk about, and then we'll talk about them. Let me read off the agenda. Today is the July 28th, 2022, and as a reminder, this meeting happens every Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. UTC, and I guess noon on Pacific land. So we have the month of July LCP, where we have layers that we talked about that last week, but now they're live. So I'll show those off. We have some initial setup for those layers that we'll talk about and maybe vote on if there's any more that I haven't seen yet. And there's an issue that I had with the lot supply that's been fixed. And we have a DENDAO priority vote posted. So quite a few things to go over, but none of them should take too long. If you would like to jump in and join me on this call, there is a link at the top of the post in the DENDAO layer on Den.Social. So you can click this StreamYard link and that'll pop you in here. We can have a chat. And if you don't want to do that, you can leave a reply on this post before I get done talking about everything, and I'll check it again at the end of the call to see if there's any user feedback. So with that, let's go back to the top. July 22 LCP. We've got craft beer, preppers, and the modern man. So that's cool. A lot of people have been waiting for the preppers layer to win, myself included. And I think there's a lot of complementary layers that have been winning leading up to it. Craft beer, of course, got to craft your own if the world ends, right? But also stuff like DIY, and there's a firearms layer now, and things along those lines. And let's look at them. So first up, we've got craft beer, which I've seen Juicy J has been posting some beer reviews as he gets around town. This one's from some place called Corkscrew Barbecue. I've been playing around with this one myself. It's probably the one that I've spent the most attention on since it went live this month. If you look in there, you'll see at the beginning, there was like a flood of my proposals. These are all tags I thought we needed because new layers by default come with some tags, but not specifically the stuff that your community is going to need. So go in and propose tags you don't see in layers that you subscribe to if you're a lot holder. And if not, and you still want to see them added, you'll have to just open a discussion in that layer and say, hey, who's got some lot? We need these tags. All right. And then, so let's see and also there's a demonstration, a couple of them that I was just building when I was screwing around here. One of them is which one should I review first in my fridge? It's just an example of, one of the proposals that we'll see in a minute is to add a poll in a layer where non-lot holders, just people that subscribe that don't hold lot, could vote on it. Right now, there's only lot holders can vote. So I actually did go ahead and post this review in a different layer for reasons. But as soon as video is enabled here, I'll post it here in the craft beer layer. So next up, we have oh, look, 6 seconds ago, Juicy J is still at it. We are live. What do we call it? Live blogging, live layer posting. That's funny. I was sitting here talking about it, and here he posted something new. So here's a better photo of that last beer, Spindle Tap. So that's cool. Oh, and now I want barbecue. Thanks a lot. There is beer in the photo, so that counts. but might have to get barbecue tonight. I'll let my wife know that date night is now barbecue night. So what do we got? Preppers is next. And it looks like nobody has said hello yet. That's fine. That's okay. We also don't have, by the way, let's go back to craft beer for a second. Yeah, there's no banner and there's no avatar still. So calling all artists. If you want to earn some matter or some lot, maybe whip up some decorations for the new layers. And that could be something every month, honestly. If you're an artist, if you are decent with digital artwork, Photoshop, the GIMP, whatever you use, looks like Modern Man is the same, then you should pop in and just post in here and say, hey, here's some artwork if you want to use it. Somebody with lot, feel free to put this up on the banner. And, oh, by the way, please tip me some lot because I want it. Just ask for it. Well, somebody will probably give it to you. Oops, navigated away. So there's our 3 layers. They are live. They are ready to go. And let's see. I'm going to go in order here. So we talked about artwork and tags. Yes. So there was an issue. Off the top of my head, I forget which denizen brought it up, but thank you for that. There was an issue where if you looked at the LCP and you saw that craft beer was supposed to have 2.2 million lot because that's how many votes it got, how much lore it got. And then you looked over at craft beer, you would see that it said 4.4 instead of 2.2. So that was an internal DEN thing being displayed incorrectly. Doesn't affect the actual lot. And actually, I have to go check and see if we need to finish up the Ethereum side creation because sort of pump the brakes just in case there was anything we didn't know about there. And once we dug in, discovered it was my fault. Sorry about that, but it was just a typo in the way that it was processed, and it didn't affect the actual count. So that's all fixed now and resolved, and then we can get on with making the real ones out on, or the Ethereum ones out on Ethereum. So yeah, you can double check it if you want, but it should be exactly right because I've triple checked it this time because I'm paranoid and OCD, which is good sometimes too. All right, so there's that. Priority vote. So we have a development cycle. Let me get rid of the stuff we already talked about. If you go into the governance section on Den, and then you navigate over to the Den icon on the very right of this list here, you'll see that Bit by the Coin proposed a site-wide DAO prioritization vote. Now, this is the big one that happens every cycle. We got layer chat and DMs, and then we had one of these again, and then we got whatever came after that, and then we did one of these again, and then we got anonymity was the most recent one. So you can post anonymous posts on Den if the layer enables it. So scrub through this again. A lot of them will read exactly the same, right? The features that haven't got hit yet will read the same. And there's another one at the bottom, 2 more, in fact, maybe. Well, let's look at the bottom 3 because they're relatively new. So the ones that you may not have noticed that have been there since the last couple of cycles is number 11, the LCP process automation for creation, runners-up, collaboration, stuff like that. That one and the performance improvements on the back end for probably stuff that you wouldn't notice as a denizen on the front end, right? So this automation for LCP process, and the performance improvements, a lot of this is quality of life for the devs and for people in the back end or the people that still are doing things manually that needed to be done manually for reasons until we figured out exactly what was going to work the best. And we have better indications of that now. We better ways to do that than even in the beginning. So thanks everyone for playing along so far and helping us identify what to automate, where, and how. All right, let's see here. Oh, cool. Getting some feedback. Looks like all the Ethereum lot are created. So that's awesome. All that's done. And then number 13, canaries. This is the one that went in most recently after we cleared a spot. We can only have 13 at a time. So we had to clear a spot and build something before we could put something else in there. And I'll just read it here. It says, Den already has a canary system on the back end implemented, but it does not currently have it in the user interface. This would add a user interface that would expose DEN security canaries. And if you don't know what a canary is, you can go look that up, I guess, outside the scope of this meeting. But basically, it's an indicator. It's a type of sensor that they used to use in coal mines to see if there was anything bad or unknown or something like that. So that's been used as a term, an industry term in IT for a long time, and that's where it comes from. So the votes are ready to vote on. If you have been participating in DEN, even if you have never bought anything, you'll have some metrics that will be used, some on-chain behavioral metrics that'll be used to give you a voting weight. And these are things like just, participating, using up your energy, voting, evaluating, posting content, getting voted on, or some more manual things where you can go out to Uniswap and add liquidity for the 2 different types of ERC20s that we use, if that's your thing and you're into diving deep into Web3 and discovering all of that. Even the outside of DEN stuff is accounted for here, where there's behavior we want to see, and we reward that with governance weight that allows literally the people that are provably helping build this community say what to do next and what to build next and things like that. And without giving too much of a I don't want to suggest you vote this way or the next, but I would say there's 2 ways to think of it. I think I said something about it here, right? There's what I want to, what I'd like to vote on and have, because I think it's neat and useful. And then there's what is maybe broader picture. If you look down the road, other things could be built on top of it, and maybe we should get that first. So kind of like a thought experiment that you should probably run with yourself and see what you want to vote on. So do that. Again, that'll be in the governance tab with the gavel here. And then you click up here on the DENDAO logo, and that gives you all the DENDAO GIs. Now, let me just look, since we're here, and see if there's anything I haven't voted on. We have some WBRT stuff. Cool. Let's look at it. Let's see. Propose to allow the host of a show to vote on air to dynamically change the topic of a show if it makes sense. For example, a major current event or availability of a particular host. This could be considered a special committee for every episode, which acts as a mini DAO. Such a proposal and vote will be required to take place live and on air. That's interesting. So you could, I like that because one, it helps just with onboarding to show how things work. And then, we do with WBRT, that show picks a month ahead of time what the topics are going to be. So yeah, there could be something that comes up where it's like, hey, here's the topic, but this happened now, so we just push everything back and do this. That's a good idea. I didn't know that he was going to propose that, but I'm not against it. And as a lot holder, I'm going to go ahead and weigh in and say, hey, I don't see why not. Let's do it, and I'll commit that now. So I have voted. And then if you notice, that went away because I'm top left. Sorry, I'm doing a little 101 thing here, I guess. But top left, there's a flag. And that's saying, when you have that selected, that's going to give you a list of things that you're eligible to vote on, but haven't voted on yet. So there is another one for WBRT or WBERT. I don't know how you would pronounce that as a word. From Bit by the Coin. I'd like to change the order of the shows for August to move implications of recorded history to August 18th so that Distant can attend. He nominated the topic and will be on vacation on August 4th. That's true. I'll be out of here. I mostly just wanted this topic to happen, but I would, of course, love to weigh in on it and talk about it. So yeah, I'll approve that because it benefits me. I'll be greedy. Sure. Commit that. Awesome. And then this one actually was me, but from my business account. If you look through those, through the proposal here, I'll go back to it. If you look through the DENDAO proposal, one of them is a poll right here, layer poll, non-lot voting. So this is sort of like the best thing we have right now. The best analogy for that would be the GI MISC. That's not what I meant to click on. One moment, please. Here we are. So this is like not a governance like, hey, change the banner, change the rules, change the description. This is literally just a miscellaneous, and you can have up to 13 options. So I wrote this while I was reviewing a different beer, and I was just talking to the camera and the microphone like I do. And I said, you know what, let's demo this. And it's for the craft beer layer, and I couldn't figure out like, okay, how do we collectively review a beer? Let's say there's one that has wide distribution, and so theoretically, no matter what state or country you lived in, you might have access to this. Boston Lager is one of them that I would consider a craft beer that has high distribution to the point where it's, maybe people don't even think of it as a craft beer anymore, but Sam Adams has done some really good stuff for the craft beer scene and even donated a bunch of their own hops to competing breweries whenever there was a shortage, just to keep the scene going. So I didn't mind putting them in here as the example. So if you want, and if you have any of the lot for the craft beer layer, come in here and give Boston Lager a rating. I haven't yet because I got to try one. I haven't tried one in probably a couple of years. So I want to refresh my memory, and then I'll come in here and do it. Looks like we got 2 votes for 7. Not bad at all. Eternal Mickey and Juicy J. So there's that. I like that example. That's good. Cool. Now let's go back. And I promised to refresh and see if anybody had dropped a line while I was talking that didn't want to come on or have time for it. So let's look at that. And it looks like the answer is no. All right. So those are the highlights. Those are the updates for today. Go set up the new layers. And like I said, if you have an artist friend or you know someone who's, if you want to ping somebody on Den, we have a DM system now, and say, hey, you've been making some cool art. Why don't you make some art over here? Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll offer up a tip and say, hey, come do some stuff. Let's see. If I'm not thinking of anything else, there's always something. No, not at the moment. I'm not going to have a show. If you watch the Wednesday shows, I'm not going to have one next week. I'll be here still, but I'll be packing up and needing to leave. And then the following week, I'll probably check in at some point from Iceland because I'm super excited about it. It's been on my bucket list for a while. The travel and photography layer would be an ideal place for me to travel and photographize to. And then I'll be back the following week. So that'll be August 17th or 18th. And I'll be back in time for the new coffee show in the new layer that I'll be buying as a business layer. And I've already started going through all of the different, the previous episodes of that. And what I'm doing is I'm tallying up every time somebody, any denizen has chimed in, either in the reply section with a question or a topic, has joined the call, because it also has like a live link to join if you want to do that. But I was talking to Lisa Mighty Davis in YouTube chat during one of them, and it reminded me that I always forget about YouTube chat. So I'll go through that as well to see who's been talking on that. And the idea is that now all of us are owners of the new layer, and we all are lot holders, and then we all can do basically the WBRT thing, but with the coffee show. So that'll be cool. That's what I've got right now. Check out World Blockchain. Happened earlier today, as it does on Thursdays. We talked about the pitfalls of celebrity shilling. There was a guest appearance by Ashton Kutcher, which was awesome. There was some pretty good discussion on, and I thought it was good too. I thought it was like thoughtful, talking about how a lot of the risk is on the celebrities themselves if they're putting themselves out there and things. So check it out. Go check it out. And definitely tune in for the other shows and stuff that are here. So what are those? We talked about WBRT, which you've got to go submit questions for whenever you see those posts. Super Happy Dragon Lucky is hosted in the Dragon Chain layer. That's been going for 3 years solid. This week was the 3-year anniversary of that show. So light a candle or whatever you do for birthdays. 3 years solid too. Not missing a single week. Updater's going to update whether you like it or not. So thanks, Joe, for all the updates, man, if you're listening. Coffee with Den is hosted in the Den layer, and like I said, I should probably update this DENDAO template too, because that'll no longer be in the Den layer. It'll be in the Coffee layer that doesn't exist yet. And then, of course, this is a call that's hosted in the DENDAO layer itself, and this happens every Thursday at right about now, 3 o'clock. And that's what I've got for you today. So I will see everybody next time, and thank you for helping us with this.
Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best. Adaptable, raw capital, label radical yet rational. A tactical approach is palpable if this animal is fallible, but that conclusion is laughable. So with for all detachable from the mandible, you see it now.